What is up, social media family? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for another visit to the exclusive network. Yes, where you laugh, learn, and live by way of information. Sometimes you go, sometimes you go, and sometimes you go, aha. Because I want you to think of things in a different way than you've been thinking of them. There's something in the air. It's summertime and people are out. Flowers are blooming. It's breezes and sunshine and things happen. And there's a question we all want answered. And what's that makes the world go round? What's that thing that we all want to know about? It goes something like this.
What is love? I want to know what love is.
Love, huh? Who doesn't like love? I mean, everybody wants some love, right? But the problem with love is sometimes we don't know how to give it to people because we don't know what all love entails. We've only experienced it in little bits and pieces. So what I'm going to do is give you the levels of love so that you can practice these more.
I want you to show me.
And when you see them, you'll recognize them on, oh, that's love right there. Instead of wondering why you're in the relationship you're in or why you're going through this situation, that person you're with might not know what love is. So let me tell you what love is so you'll know how to distribute it and receive it. Levels of love. Let's get right to it. The first level I'm going to explain is called Philia. This is the love that you would get from a friend or a family member, where it's an affection and an attraction, but it's not in a physical or sexual manner. There's no romance. It's just someone that has the same concepts and beliefs you have, so you'll flow off the same wavelengths, and you start to become attracted to one another in that sense. It's not physical or romance. It's you go to school with somebody, y'all like the same things, y'all start to talk more. How you display this love is by getting into a deep conversation with someone because y'all heads are in the same place, or you like the same shows, or you got the same likes of food, or the same sense of humor, or you like to read the same books, or whatever it is. You start to make a bond between one another. Just like when you pick a friend, there's a reason you pick that friend. There's some sort of attraction there and an affection, but it's not physical or sexual. That's philia. It's an affectionate love. So that's one of the levels you would experience first as a kid. Second stage of love.
I got you back. I got you.
Storge. S-T-O-R-G-E. Storge. This is stated to be familiar love. This is the love you were familiar with, and it's just like philia, which philia is for friends and family members like cousins, brothers, and this and that. Storge is more the familiar love, almost like child to a parent type of love. So this has no romance to it. There is an attraction and an affectionate love there, but it's almost like a child to a parent. It's the love you were familiar with. It's the affection of having a bond and something that's recognizable. You can recognize this. Oh, you treat me like my parents treat me, so I like you a little bit. It's a familiar love. It's a familiar place. This you should also experience as a child. Well, this next level I'm going to explain to you is Philautia. Now this one is something we need to practice a lot, because Philautia is self-love.
I love myself.
In today's modern society, people that illustrate Philautia or self-love is kind of tagged as narcissistic, selfish, and not compassionate to others, which is that's not true at all. Self-love is not an unhealthy thing. You have to be able to sacrifice love for yourself, and then it will be easier to give it to somebody else. If you never love yourself completely, you will never love another person completely. You want them to love you completely. You want them to pick up the slack where you lacking. You cannot lack with self-love. You have to love yourself. You have to, so that you can love somebody else. If you don't like yourself that much, you're not going to fathom how to take care of someone else's emotions or whatnot when it comes to the love they need to receive. So you have to love yourself every day, 24/7, 365, including in times when it's a leap year. Add that day on too. Self-love is highly needed, and it's very important to any other relationship you're gonna have. How you display self-love is the same way you would display it to someone else that you love. Those that you are compassionate with, where you would sacrifice doing whatever you need to do to put a smile on these people's face, is the same treatment you need to give yourself. Don't always depend on somebody else to give you the love you deserve from yourself. So self-love is highly important. Philautia. Now we're starting to get into the brass tacks of things, because now we're getting into that affection stage. This stage is called the Ludus. The Ludus stage of love can also be stated to be the playful love, the enjoyment. And this is the stage where you've been dating someone. Now this is all sexual, physical attraction. This is this stage. The Ludus stage, the playful love, is when you get in love, that feeling you get, that anxiousness when a person calls, or when they come in the room, you start to feel a certain type of way. When you get them butterflies in your stomach because the phone is ringing, or you make sure that the phone line is clear so when they call, you can pick it right up. You experience this type of love. They say that your brain is acting like it's on cocaine, like you're riding pretty high. And it's not a bad thing. It's your endorphins and dopamine is just increasing because this person does that to you. Got you acting all crazy, kind of, sort of. Ludus is the playful love, and it happens in the early stages of romance, where you were so attracted to this person, there is an infatuation. You're so infatuated with this person, you get the giddiness, you the googly eyes, and you're on cloud nine, and the butterflies in the stomach and all of that. That's this phase, where studies have shown people that are experiencing this stage of love, it's almost like a person that's on cocaine. Your brain is so active, and they're getting you to think of things. Your dopamine levels are just through the roof. You're on cloud nine. This is the Ludus stage. This is the playful love where they're making you feel like a kid again of some sort. This is where you think you're falling in love. Brings us to the next stage of love, which is Eros. Eros is named after the Greek god of love, passion, physical love, whatever. This stage is all about the nitty-gritty, that grown-up stuff.
Let's get physical.
It's romantic love. This is all romance. The Greeks used to think this love was a bad thing because it's so powerful, because we all have that instinctual DNA in us to procreate. Other cultures were quite fearful of this kind of love. Now, the Greeks were actually quite fearful of this kind of love because human beings have an instinctual impulse to procreate this kind of love, which is so powerful, and it will result in a loss of control. They think that you would just lose control because people like to hump. It's a good feeling. It's a good physical stimulation, so why not go get it if you know where to find it at? Although they thought this love was dangerous, it's still the kind of love that represents passionate and that sexual love. Even in this modern day, people say that it burns hot. It burns real hot, and it burns bright, but it'll also burn out real fast. So this is the one that we get so tied into to thinking this person's attracted to me when they do this. And we get so stuck into this phase, we won't allow the other phases to even become a part of our lives as much, because this is like the instantaneous feeling. You can feel this one. You can definitely feel this one. It awakens you. So this one goes definitely into the Ludus. Those two kind of play hand in hand, but we have to evolve so that we can learn all of these different levels, so that we can give everyone all of these different levels in a good balance. So Eros is all that romantic shit that we get stuck on this part of love and think that everything else evolves around this part of love. This is just a small piece of love. Love is a recipe, and you have to know the whole recipe in order to bake it and give it to someone else. You can't just make a cake with 2 eggs. You can't just make a cake with flour. You can't just make a cake with a bowl. You have to have all these things that make a cake to put it in the oven and it rise to something delicious. Same way with love. It's a recipe. You need all of it to give it all, not just one particular ingredient. Eros is just one ingredient. So practice on how to manage this part. The next stage of love is called Mania. Now, where do you think maniac comes from? Huh?
She's a maniac.
Mania. Let me explain to you what mania, the stage of this love, is. Now, this level of love comes a little bit after Eros, where you're so attracted to this person and physically stimulated by this person, you don't want nobody else to get this shit. Now, mania, this stage of love, is a very dangerous one to dwell in. Mania love is also stated as obsession love. This is that love where it can lead someone to being jealous, angry, or vengeful. It could lead you in a stage of madness, which is why mania love, the obsession love, it's kind of dangerous to be in. And the reason the stage of this love is so dangerous is because your levels of your Eros stage and your Ludus stage is highly imbalanced. It's way off. And you get into a stage of madness when you're in this stage. The person that's in this stage of love usually has some problems with insecurities or low self-esteem. You fear losing the love of the object that you are loving, so you'll say or you'll do some crazy shit to keep that object around. And with this not being under control, it is very detrimental to any relationship. So you don't want to stick in the mania stage too long, because it's very destructive. Next stage of love is called Pragma. Now, Pragma is stated as being enduring love. It's the opposite of Eros. Eros can burn out quickly because the passion and intensity is so high it can burn out quick. Pragma is the enduring love. This develops over a long period of time. The best way to display Pragma love is like being together for so long and still having that erotic type of affection for each other. If you see an 80-year-old couple walking down the beach or walking in the mall and they holding hands, or you see your grandmama sitting on your granddaddy lap and they over 70, that's pragmatic love. That's love. It's been there so long, it ain't gonna go nowhere. So if you can make it to Pragma, you in business. So Pragma is that enduring love to where it's not going to burn out. You're going to do things for each other to make each other happy. You are going to compromise. That's what Pragma love is about. Kept this stage of love last because this is the one we least experience in our lives, but you need to. The last stage of love is Agape. A-G-A-P-E. Agape. This is unconditional love. This is the one we don't experience. So much of our love comes with conditions. You got to be like this. You got to do this for me. You have to treat me like this. Those are all conditions. This is the one we have the most problem with, which is why we look for unconditional love, but we don't know what it is. Unconditional love is when Jesus was on that cross and he died for all you morons and to clean your sins so that you can be happy, because he knew you were going to fuck up. It didn't matter how many people treated him bad. It didn't matter who said his feet stank. He sacrificed himself for you. So that love is divine in itself. God is love. Love is God. So you need to figure out ways to experience this. This love is altruistic. It is selfless. It doesn't keep records of the bad. There are no conditions involved. It is unconditional love.